Yep.
Yes, sir.
Like
Just the four of
a little
us.
bit of pushback, but it's okay. We are a club, and so we look forward to eventually seeing you guys backstage and hanging out with us. But until then, welcome to our show. We have a lot of exciting things to talk about today, so we'll just get right into it. But what is Rise Up? Rise Up is a show where we rise up out of ignorance of what's happening in the world and also how we can make a difference right here in our own community. So here we're joined with the whole team today. Yay, us. We've got Ricky DeSena, our double agent. We've got Iris Voidovich, our single agent and basically an intern, and Naria Goiter. So we're all here today. Hooray. So without further ado, we're going to get started with our international news, aka difficult news. Well, let's go to Ricky DeSena. What do we got?
All right. So, for this week, I wanted to share with you guys what's going on in India. This is all over the news. People are talking about it all the time. So I just want to shed some light on some of the details and kind of explain why there's a lot of protests going on over there and what are the issues, what are the biggest things that people are worried about, both from the India's government side and also the side of the farmers, mostly Sikh farmers that are protesting.
Right.
So what's going on in India, as many of you have heard, the farmers are protesting a new set of policies that are being brought up by the Indian government. These policies are aimed to basically commercialize the farming industry in India. The Indian farming industry for a long time has been unprofitable and has been draining the Indian government of a lot of money because they've been basically sustaining the farming through either money investments or technology or whatever they need to survive. And what they're getting from that is the ability to produce their own food, which is really important. The problem is, you start to grow a deficit after so many years of investing so much money. And so the Indian government, is trying to, in their efforts to reduce that deficit, have introduced bills that would eventually make farming more competitive by bringing in commercial investment. On the other side, you have the farmers who are protesting these new policies because they feel that these new policies and the trend of these policies would push them out of farms their families have been in ownership of for hundreds of years. A lot of these farmers are from Sikh communities. They've owned these lands for a long time. And so they're really frustrated with the direction. They feel like they don't have enough of a voice because their community is so small. And so they decided to start these protests to show the world that what India is doing is wrong. And they have a right to keep the land that they've owned for hundreds of years. And yeah, that's basically, the conflict in a nutshell. Indian Sikh protesters fighting against policies that could have potentially pushed them out of the lands they've been living on for centuries. So yeah, bring it back to you guys.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Ricky. And I was reading into this a little bit, and it's just a very difficult, there's not a simple resolution. And I saw there was a video of someone interviewing some of the protesters and kind of the difficult, kind of life, just kind of camping out, but they're also kind of building a family atmosphere there too. And it's interesting how the UN, again, they're kind of picking an issue about free speech and allowing them to protest express their right to do so. At the same time, we also understand the government's point of view. We're trying to develop their economy, kind of opening up free markets a bit, but it will likely have an impact. So it's I think it's important to be kind to the people, but being tough on policy and find out the best result for everybody. So thanks for digging into this topic. And I don't know if anyone else here wants to comment at all.
I think finding that win-win solution is really important because you don't want the government against the farmers and then the local farmers against the government and feeling like they're each other's enemies in that way. Like they both live in the same country, they're trying to work together, they want the best for their country and for their people. So I think, it's important to try to look into finding the best solution where both are in agreement. But it might not be as easy as just saying that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Take time, right, Ricky?
Yeah. And I think the biggest issue, which I didn't bring up when I was talking about protests, was the kind of force the Indian government has been using against the protesters, which I feel like it's been a pattern recently of just like governments using excessive force to deal with people, exercising their free speech. I think that's the main issue with the protest there. It's not so much. Well, I think part of it is the issue with the land and the Sikhs losing their land and the Indian government wanting it to be profitable. But I think you have to address like the major issue of like how to deal with protesters, because it's not just in India.
Right.
It's a lot of countries that are using excessive force. Even in the States, we have so many stories. You have protests, against the kind of force the police are using on protesters, which is insane. So for me, that's the biggest issue I'm looking at. Like how, generally can we deal with this issue of excessive force by police officers, military forces on protesters, stuff like that.
Right. It's allowing the dialogue to happen, because these things take time and there's no simple solution. So it does take allowing people to voice their point of view. Very good. Okay. Thank you, Ricky. Let's go to some happy news from Iris. We have a few fun stories to share. And by the way, do you all like how we set up? We have a new setup now with the pretty frame and the little balls and stuff. Thank you, Iris, for designing those.
And, anytime.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, again, thank you, Ricky, for enlightening us about what's going on in the world. So in terms of good news or volunteership going on nationwide, we have two stories today that I want to share with you. One is about someone named Aletta Clark, otherwise known as Englewood Barbie here in Chicago.
Can you guys mute yourself at the echo there? Sorry.
An echo. Wow, we love a good echo. Give me 1 second then. I guess it's because I didn't connect with earbuds. All right, excuse us while we have this tiny intermission.
Seems like it's good now.
Hello?
You're good.
Great. So, back to the story I have on Aletta Clark. So here in Chicago, not only do we have sort of intense violence going on that's sort of embedded itself into the culture of our South Side, but we have also a deep issue in terms of poverty and people in need and not being able to meet that need. So this one woman, Aletta Clark, otherwise nicknamed Englewood Barbie, is spreading the good in the South Side community by, just helping out as many people as she can, Monday through Saturday. And for the last 6 years, she's been working on this movement to help raise up the South Side by either donating food, toys, clothing, and more to all the people in need. And last year, she actually caught the attention of artist and fashion designer Virgil Abloh, who is a Chicago-grown designer, now working for Louis Vuitton. And from him, she received a $187,000 donation and used it to open 6 safe houses where people in different communities from the South Side can go to get food, supplies, and shelter whenever needed. And she continues this movement to this day. You can see her on her Instagram and Facebook at Englewood Barbie and see all the stories that she's covering there and how she's helping these communities and helping all of these individuals in need. So yeah, that's a great inspiring story for coming from Chicago. I'm really proud of that, actually. And our second story is on a volunteer survey. So a few months ago, or at least since the beginning of the pandemic, based on 2,000 American surveys, 52% of the people surveyed reported that because of the pandemic, they have volunteered for the first time ever. And most percentage lies in delivering food to essential workers, volunteering to help the elderly, and volunteering at a food pantry. And on the survey, for most volunteers, the motivation to volunteer came from seeing people close to them in need who needed help and couldn't help themselves, or were inspired by their friends who are also volunteering. And the main concern was that though they were concerned about safety protocols in terms of social distancing, sanitization, and stuff like that, many of these surveys reported that working with their hands to support their community was much more fulfilling than simply donating money or clothes. And with that, if you didn't know, April is actually National Volunteer Month, and April 18th to 24th is National Volunteer Week. So that week, we are not only appreciating our volunteers, but we're also standing up and volunteering to help our communities. But throughout the whole month, that's what we're doing for April. So if you need help finding out a project in your area to help out your community, contact us. Or if you have a project going on in April, send us your story and we'd love to report on it and bring you onto the show to talk about it. But yeah, thank you.
Awesome. That's some very touching stories and very hopeful news. You know, when you shared with us yesterday about the 52% of Americans volunteering for the first time, I feel like that number represents a lot of different things going on, right? I don't know, IRCP, could you share with us about what do you think that number means? 52% of those, again, those that were surveyed, but like what's happening in this country?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a mix of people having time to donate, you know, because life used to be so busy before a pandemic, you know, but not only just having the time to give, but also having the heart to give, seeing how much need there is now because of the pandemic and how much just hurt it has caused. People now realize and have the space to see that there's a need and that they can fulfill it. Maybe volunteering might have meant like, oh, I invest a lot of effort and time into people I don't know. But now it's just a matter of being more in touch with our humanity, I think. And that's really inspiring to see how people are realizing this fact, you know, that we are all in this together. And some of us may be hit harder than others. And the ones that aren't hit as hard have the chance to give back and really have a great impact on other people that need the help. And the people that receive the help can embrace the aid from others and spread this gratitude and this happiness, you know. I think it's really inspiring, honestly, to see how much our humanity has flourished or how much more aware we're becoming as a society to all the things that need help, to all the causes that need help and that need awareness, whether that's a public movement or people that need food or your small church that's low on volunteers or something, you know, or your trash corner that you were talking about last week. Yes. There's always help wherever we look. There's always a need wherever we look, and people finally realizing that they can fulfill that need is a really powerful thing.
So true. I am wondering though, what made up the 48%? I mean, were these people who they've always done service and just said, okay, well, it wasn't my first time? Or was that like the 48% of people who just literally didn't do anything during the pandemic? Do you know?
I would say it's a mix of fear precaution because, I mean, yeah, a pandemic is not just a word that we throw around. It's an intense situation that we're in. People are scared for their health and risking the health of not just themselves, but the ones around them. So when it comes to volunteering to help people like elderly people or incapacitated people, that comes with a risk, you know? And you're right, probably the other 48% of people that were already volunteering anyway, and we're the ones inspiring the 52% to help out for the first time. So it could go either way. It's probably a good mix of both.
Yeah, that number 52%, that's huge. And it sounds like those who experience it for the first time, a lot of times you get like, I guess, the service bug where, like you said, you feel really empowered and really good that you're able to contribute something to society and your community. So you want to be able to keep doing that. So it's great that even though we went through that challenge of the pandemic and a lot of difficulties, that there's something positive rising up out of that.
Exactly right.
Absolutely.
Got the bug? You guys got the bug yet? You got your... Well, there's no vaccine for this one, I guess. Anyway. Ricky, what do you think? I know... See, you guys always do service. But in my case, I think the last time I did service was maybe when I organized something for kids a long time ago. So it feels like I'm doing service for the first time again in my experience. So yeah. I think I'm a part of that 52%, even if I'm not perfect definition.
Yeah, no, I think like being a volunteer just gives you like so much valuable experience, allows you to see like the world as it is. Because, you know, sometimes when you're living in a certain situation, especially like if you're more wealthy, you don't see what's going on really. You might hear about it, but unless you're actually out there volunteering, it's really hard to experience that. So I actually like one of the comments I read in the chat, Sri Danyati. He said true volunteers should be politicians to ensure that they have power to change the world. I think that's really important that, you know, politicians, you know, have this kind of like concept of politicians, like, you know, very corrupt, very self-interested. They only want to say things or do things that kind of like catches the attention of the public. But I feel like having a politician who's like required to, you know, be a volunteer, they actually see what's going on. They're not so stuck in their own career politician world, you know. So that's kind of my perspective on it.
Yeah, and I'd just love to add to that. We're not politicians, and we certainly don't have the amount of power that they have. But regardless of whatever your standing is, if you're a politician and you're just a random regular person or just an intern, you can still make change somewhere. Maybe not as big of a change as they have because they have the platform and the power to do that. But at any level, you can impact someone's life. You can impact something. So I think that's the main idea about Rise Up Club, you know, wherever you're at, you can make an impact, however big, however small.
I completely agree.
You make a great politician, Iris. But it's true, actually, really.
I'm flattered, but no, that is not my realm of expertise.
I mean, you guys know this. We were at Synergy, and we had some Congress people literally imploring us to run for office because we're really in a time where young people, or you know, like, we're not even that young. I mean, I guess I wouldn't consider myself too young to really run for office because, you know, if we can see problems and we can see solutions, then why not? And to make real change. So, but yeah, it starts with just doing something that you can. Okay, we're now going to go to Naria with some YSP updates, shout outs, etc. Naria, go.
All right. So as you probably heard in the upcoming Synergy that's it's going to be happening April 15th. This is the international level. So our two presenters are representing North America, who are from Montreal, Canada, Rafaela Diaz-Byers and Tabitha Wilson. And they sent me an update on their activities. So it's quite inspiring of what's going on. So they started out as a small group, just protesting every week on a Tuesday in front of the MindGeek building where MindGeek owns Pornhub. And they want to bring awareness to the exploitation of young women and unconsented videos and media that was being submitted to Pornhub and being used. So this group grew from a small group to a really large group, and they have a lot of support now. And they're working with many other organizations and have even created like a strategy group, which is called Canadians for Action, a coalition of organizations on this topic. And also some of her highlights that she mentioned was when while they were on the street protesting, Visa and MasterCard suspended their services with Pornhub. So that was a really exciting moment for them, and they felt it was a really big victory. And yeah, they have a website now and active social media. So definitely check them out. Their website is stopexploitationhub.org, or I'm sorry, not org. I think it's .com.
We'll put it in the chat.
Yes, .com. Stopexploitationhub.com. I will add it into the chat. And so their project is Arrêtez Exploitation Hub, which is stop in French. But I'm not sure how to put this in the chat through this new platform, so I will have Ricky do it and forward it to him.
Ricky's got this.
Yeah, Ricky's got it. Thanks, Ricky. Another update. So we have YSP coordinators across the country, and I wanted to highlight our coordinator in Las Vegas, Nevada. So he is like one of our most consistent service coordinators. Like before the pandemic started in 2020, every Saturday he would have some kind of service opportunity. So they just relaunched and started at the end of March. So they're now having weekly service projects. So if you happen to be in Las Vegas, you can connect with him. You can check out our website. We have his information, contact info in our directory for members. But yeah, Jeffrey Solerio, he's an awesome guy, and they do a lot of cleanup work and partnering with other environmental organizations to just take care of the environment around Las Vegas. He is also the leader of Shine City Project. So basically their goal as Shine City is to basically make Las Vegas a beautiful city for their community. All right, back to you, Milhan.
Well, we're not back to me yet, Nariam.
Oh, really?
We got some questions for you. No, but
okay.
But thank you for those updates. We had, Jeffrey's a great guy, and we should feature him sometime later. But this project, Exploitation Pornhub, I think is something like that.
Arrêtez Exploitation Hub.
Arrêtez Exploitation Hub. Yeah, it's talk about bravery. I mean. But also taking, our number one core value is responsibility. And, if you live in the same city of where the MindGeek headquarters is, I didn't even know the organization name that was running this website. But to be living in that city and to just literally stand there every day for an hour a day with signs, just letting them know we don't stand for this. And they attacked a particular issue. I think it was like with the content without consent, and not generalizing but tackling a specific problem and standing behind it and kind of arousing, bringing a movement behind it. I think that takes a lot of bravery and kind of removing the emotion out of it and just making sure we're tackling something that can be done. So, please support them. And also with the Synergy event we're having in just a few weeks now. But I don't know, what do you guys think about this this topic? I mean,
yeah, I think it goes back to what we were saying before about you don't have to be a politician to invoke change, I mean, these young people, as far as I know, they weren't politicians, but they're just standing up for something that they believed in, that if this footage is going out, the people performing in it deserve to be recognized and get paid and not be exploited. And at least, just like you were saying, focusing on this one point alone is also great, not trying to generalize the entire thing, otherwise you get lost in it. But yeah, having a clear vision and standing up for what you think is right, without any sort of specific power that you have. If you gather as a big enough group, you can make a big impact. I mean, the fact that Visa and MasterCard suspended their services, that's incredible to me. How insane is that? How long were they doing this for until that happened, Naria?
It started in April last year.
Yeah, in like barely a year. I think that's great. That says something about the power of the people, you know? So yeah, that's so inspiring to me, and that this can happen anywhere in any situation.
I think as a result of their work, they had to remove all like thousands and thousands of videos, and it's incredible. And I love, it's funny because of youth. There's something about that, and even when we asked them what you would use the synergy money for, and it was literally to buy more signs. It's as simple as that, and it's so empowering to think any of us out here, if there's something that you want to change, just what are you waiting for? The time we're in we can make it happen.
So. Yeah, we should just have that on every sign ever. Like, if you have the power to change something, what are you waiting for? I love that.
The only thing holding you back is money for signs. Donate so
That's
we can
the
make
one. Or just not knowing that you can make a change. So I think that's what our job is to really inspire others and to show them, like, you can do this. And that's what I really enjoy.
Exactly. Ricky?
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's just super inspiring. Like, you hear about, or hear these stories about people like these that they're going out and they're making a change, but like to meet with them and to see exactly what they were doing, I really feel like they embody this kind of ideal we have, the power of the people, and the power to like make substantial change, without being a politician, without having all this money to create the change that you want. Because we hear about these super rich corporations that are getting things done in the government just because they're throwing money at them. You're seeing these group of kids who are going out there every week, trying to change things without all that money. And the money they do have, the money they do get, this is going straight into posters. Can you imagine? Like, it's crazy to me, but also just super inspiring.
Yeah, talk about limiting your overhead, right? Okay, thank you, Naria, for those updates. And now for our feature presentation, with 2 minutes left, I have, one quick update. You're all probably wondering what I did for service this past Saturday. Forgive me, I didn't go live stream. I wanted to just do something with my family, although my wife did take video, which I think I will post. But I talked about there's a certain patch of land where there's just accumulates garbage for whatever reason. So we went there on Saturday with my whole family. It was really cute, and I got gloves this time, right? I was prepared, and we filled this trash bag to its limit, and there was still more there. So next week we're going to have 2 trash bags this time, and really put a bigger dent in that problem. But I want to leave with this short story, spotlighting one of our YSP coordinators out there doing service. And her name is Stephanie Diaz. She's someone that actually has done an internship program with me. And so you can imagine how near and dear she is to my heart. And, she's always doing service, but since I started doing service, she took it to the next level, and now she's also doing service every week. And I don't know, Ricky can pull up some photos. Just, even before that, she went to some church and did a service project there. Yeah, here we go. And she kind of gathered some of the members of our church out there. And just seeing, in this particular place, there were hundreds of people lining up to get food, and there was just a few volunteers manning the tables, putting the things together. And so they're like really grateful that they were there. And, so I'm just so moved by that. But what I want to tell you about is just the other day, I think it was just a week ago, she was, I don't know, trying to find out what to really do, like what was her calling at this time. And she actually had an internship interview scheduled that morning, but instead she decided to help someone all the way up in Massachusetts. There was, a minister up there who was doing a service project that needed help translating into Spanish because Stephanie speaks Spanish. And you can pull the next photo there. And, she was able to meet this minister lady who she has like this long-standing project to, she and her husband pioneered, I think the lady in the pink standing next to Stephanie there on the far left. And, for a lot of the big part of their ministry is to package, canned goods and different items to send overseas to South America and different parts of the world. Again, also Puerto Rico, they need help. And, but her husband recently passed away. And, but she, instead of kind of giving up or kind of slowing things down, she just picked it up even more. And her service to these other nations just became more and more, and developed even further. And so I'm just really inspired by that story. And this reminds me, there's so many people out here kind of in difficult circumstances, but despite it all, continuing to serve and finding new life and allowing others to experience that new life, like Stephanie here. And so Stephanie does plan to go back up there. Stephanie lives in New York, by the way, so she drove up all the way to Massachusetts and plans to go back again. So again, it doesn't matter, guys. Like if there's anything you can do, and and to be spontaneous is a very good thing. And so again, if you're gonna go out, then make it be for good. So that's my little story. And I think, unless there's any comments, we're gonna wrap it up here today with a reminder that you can still sign up as a member for YSP for $7. And I'm going to ask everyone here, why should you sign up? Starting with Naria. Why should you sign up as a member?
I think it's because of the perks, because it'll connect you to a lot of different resources, and also get you updated on newsletters once we get that rolling. But also our network, our international network and our national network. And you have the opportunity to be able to submit your service hours and be able to receive awards as a volunteer. And yeah, there's a lot of different features. Not all of it is up yet, but we're slowly developing it. But it's starting to come together and looking great.
Okay, good. Iris, what do you say?
I mean, just the fact alone that it's $7. How could you pass that up? I'm sure that's the cheapest subscription price cost that you've ever heard of in your life for anything. And yes, as Naria said, not everything is up and running yet, but with the amount of resources that we're offering, how is that not worth just spending $7 on? It's an investment, and it's the cheapest investment you can ever make to make an impact. So, I mean, the price is only going to go up from here, folks. So get it while it's good.
Yep, that is the catch. The first 100 people who sign up, it's $7 for them. It's a one-time membership fee. But once it's past 100 signups, the price is going to go up a little bit, and then it's going to keep going up. So I suggest you sign up right now.
What's it going to go up to? Like $12, $20?
$12 the next round, but I think we're going to cap at 70. But yeah, it's going to slowly, incrementally get a little higher.
I'm thinking maybe it's $20. We'll see. Ricky, why should you sign up?
I mean, on top of what everyone else just said, I just, there's some maybe secret plans we have in store for you guys. You might be able to go backstage with us and hang out. That's a huge plus. Plus, you'll get to say that you were there at the beginning. So 20 years from now, when Synergy YSP is this huge thing, and be like, yeah, I was there at the beginning. I paid $7 because they're paying $100.
That's right.
So we have a comment
Yeah,
from
this is the kind of clout you
Deshotel.
want.
So Clofa says he was born in 1951. Is he disqualified? No, anyone can be a YSP member. For certain features, though, in competitions, you do have to be under 40, but there are other things that you can participate in. To receive the President's Volunteer Service Award, that's for any age. So if you're a YSP member and you're submitting your volunteer service hours, you also can be someone who can receive that. So yeah, Clofa, you can join.
Thanks. That's good to know. Good to know. So yeah, if you want to be a part of Ricky's secret plans, and but honestly, it's $7, guys. I'm telling you, it's
$7.
It's like a fancy cup of coffee. I don't know who pays $7 for coffee, but I'm sure somebody does. And it's going to be big, and I don't even know what's going to happen. And if anything, I'd love to see you backstage. We want to hang out with you, be a part of the team, be a part of the change that's happening, the good stuff. And with that, we're going to see you next week on Rise Up. See you later. Synergy International.